Hey guys, hey there, it's Helen Vandenberg here of GetClientsFast.net, and today I wanted to talk to you about one of the subjects that often gets swept under the carpet, and it's around how to deal with haters online or explicit criticism. I'm chatting to this, one of my clients has just experienced this, where they are offering relationship advice, and somebody has written a very strong F-word included post back to them, saying that they are in no position to give advice because of their gender. The first thing that I always say if you get really extreme criticism online is, number one, hooray, fantastic. Hey, Ara Maribella, great to see you. Great that if you are receiving very strong criticism online, then your message is making an impact. So when you send, the great thing about the internet is it allows us to connect with people all over the world and share our message. But the thing is, of course, not all of those people are fans. They're not all people who, they might be in our community, but they're not active community members. They might just vaguely see our stuff on their timeline, but they may have never knowingly signed up for it. So you might experience, and let's just be clear, number one is it a hater or is it a critic? So if you receive criticism, maybe someone's just expressing a different view in a different way, and they might be doing that a bit inelegantly. Haters tend to be, they hate themselves, but they are just really pushing back about not just you, but the whole global message of what you're doing. But it can be a real, let me just grab a cup of tea, hang on. It can be a real shock when that happens to you, because you're there, you've taken the courage to put your message together, you're thinking about what happens, I really want to impact people, I really want to connect with people I can serve, and then somebody takes your amazing content and twists it or misinterprets it, so as you end up feeling like, oh my goodness, is this wrong? Have I done something wrong here? So it is going to happen. If you're going to deal with the general public, you're going to run into a few crazies. Okay, it's just going to happen. So number one, be prepared. And like I say, let's look at my 5-step plan to really dealing with haters online. So number one, is it a hater or is it a critic? So try, and obviously if there's a lot of swear words in that, it's probably a hater, or it could just be someone who's inelegant at putting their comments together. But you can usually tell by their tone if somebody has reacted. Now, of course, they may not be hating or reacting to you, it's the whole topic. If it's a critic, maybe someone will say, so let's say I was talking about how to use something as innocuous as how to use webinars to market your business. Okay, it's fairly general, sensible business topic. But if someone has been burnt in the past, maybe they spent thousands of pounds on Facebook ads, or they felt they were ripped off by somebody who taught them something and it didn't work for them. Hey Judith, great to see you. We're just talking about what happens when you get negative criticism online and when somebody's really quite vicious towards you. So for example, if I was promoting how to get clients through webinars and someone had spent a lot of money in that, there's usually a backstory to it. And they are just this is, I think someone once said that this is all snake oil, all you people. And so they're lumping you together with every other past bad experience they've had around something to do with your topic matter. Now, on the other hand, it might be someone who just says, well, I don't think I want to do, I don't think webinars work anymore. They're so 1990s. Nobody's buying like that. So, and that's fine. I mean, that's just, they don't all have to agree with you. There's plenty of different methodologies. So I think the first thing is, if it's the first time you've had some real strong criticism online, then take a step back and just, is this criticism? In which case, maybe it's fine. It's just a different viewpoint. If it's what I call a hater, it's someone who's just venting their spleen. They're getting angry with you, but it's really about themselves. It's really about what's going on for themselves. So if there's swearing, if there's extreme rambling posts around their opposing viewpoint, it's probably a hater. And first thing, no, this is perfectly normal. You are on the internet. You are going to encounter some people who just either they're trolls and they have fun targeting people online, but actually that's reasonably rare. And if that is a separate issue, I'll talk about in another stream. But the likelihood is you've touched a nerve with them. There's something that has reminded them of something that's happened for them, and they just feel very strongly about it. So decide whether it's hate or criticism. If it's criticism, it's worth taking that aside and just thinking, okay, firstly, it's really good to know that not everyone agrees with you, that we can get so much in our bubble. If it's a hater, let's go on to, well, either way, let's go on to step number 2. So I know this is easy to say and hard to do, but don't take it personally. Again, when we look at, there's lots of research around how people behave online, and we know that people are much more likely to say extreme or unthoughtful things where there's a screen, where you're doing it online, rather than they ever would face to face. So again, focus that they are focused on the topic, rather than than you as an individual. Even if they're saying, well, you always say this and I don't believe it, or you always, people like you. Again, it's the very big clue, people like you. So know that this is something that they are that's going on for them, and that for you, it's about going, one, how much of my time and energy do I want to put in this? Knowing that, what is it? Something like 3% of the UK population are clinically psychotic, and most of them are online. You're going to run into some people that are just either, and I say that with jest, although the fact is true, that you are going to run into some people who are not like you. They don't have the same social norms and the same community adherence. So they may think it's perfectly fine to vent their opinion at you. So don't take it personally. This is about them. Number 3, use it to get better. So, for example, my client that is a guy who gives relationship advice to women, he had some feedback that was around, who are you to tell women what they should do? Of course, none of his stuff is about telling women what they should do. It's a beautiful approach. And, frankly, how sexist is that we wouldn't take advice from anyone from a different gender? But actually, use it to get better, because one, that would make great content. You could talk about why that, the issue, without even mentioning the criticism you've had. It would be a great topic, because if somebody's thinking that, somebody else might be. So you could use it to create content. So is there a grain of truth, or do you think there's a little, perhaps they know they've done it quite in an extreme way, there might be one grain of truth there that other people might be doubting? So for me, people might say to me, can you really get clients fast? Shouldn't you be building long-term relationships? And of course, the truth is, of course you should build long-term relationships. This is not about getting in and out and making quick money. But actually, most people, if they're growing their business, what they need is to attract some clients quickly. Now, do you want to spend 3 years getting there, or do you want to have some techniques that might actually accelerate and get you those first few premium clients? However, the fact that some people might come back with that feedback makes me remember that is going to be an objection or a concern for some people. So I've then created a series of visibilities about fast and slow sales. Yeah, Judith, I absolutely agree. It's like it's a different perspective. So when, I think I think it can just touch a nerve with us if we think, oh, that's something I might doubt in myself. So again, yeah, I guess that is the thing. Just when you do receive criticism, if you do react to it, if it's touched a nerve, is that a doubt that we might have in ourselves? So I might go, oh my God, what if not all of my people become 6-figure business owners in the first 6 months? Well, one, I don't promise that. And 2, if people believe that, then, I'm very straight talking, they're deluded. But if that is a delusion, if you really think you can do a 0 to 6 figures in 6 months with no investment and no experience. But actually, it is something in the back of my head that concerns me. It's like, are you ever overselling? Are you ever over-promising? Hey, Helen, great to see you here. We're just talking about when you receive criticism online and how to deal with that. So the first thing we said was decide whether it's criticism or if it's a hater. So if criticism, maybe inelegantly put together, but there's something that is just a different viewpoint. Not everyone has to agree with your methodology. If it's a hater, there's usually long rambling posts, there's usually some swear words in there, there's usually some irrational statements. So, I mean, for me, with haters, you know what I do is I block and delete. It's like, seriously, I have not got the bandwidth to really be engaging in a one-on-one public space. So I think the last time this happened to me was a couple of years ago when I launched some Facebook ads. And again, when you advertise, people think you're this huge, big global organization. Now I have a global business, but it's basically me and my full staff and my 3 as VAs. That's it. It's not exactly IBM, is it? So but people do tend to think that because you've put an ad out there, it's this huge faceless organization, therefore they can have a pot. So I had one person, and it was a great learning for us. We accidentally positioned this ad. It was supposed to be for women, and when the ad agency that set it up didn't make it for women only, they made it for men. And the language even though I have a few male clients, most of my clients are women, and that's how we market. So in this case, a guy or 2 guys actually commented on the ad, and they were basically saying the ad was for around how to attract clients through probably webinars. I can't remember right now. And they were basically saying, oh, I don't believe any of this stuff. It's all snake oil. This is, and they said, oh, show me how, and I wonder how much you've actually made, Helen Vandenberg, and are you just someone peddling courses for people to just blow their money on? And I wouldn't do this now. I now would just block and delete, but I did private message each of the individuals. And what I did was I tracked them down on Facebook. I friended them, and hey, Leslie, great to see you. So I friended them, and then I sent a private message, because you do not want a customer service debate going on in the open. So I private messaged them, and I just said something like, John, thanks so much. I was really quite shocked to see your comment, but thank you so much for that feedback. And I said, thank you for your feedback. I was really surprised that you found my ad and my comments so offensive. What I'm actually teaching women is basic marketing and client attraction skills. It's how to find their ideal target client, how to sell to them ethically, and how to improve their sales conversations. Most people find that really helpful, and for most new entrepreneurs, you're right. For most new entrepreneurs, it's this is something that you would see on most business courses, you'd see it on MBA programs. So I think it's hey, Sherry, great to see you. It's a really valid comment. And by the way, if you'd like to check out my, these are my 4 companies at Companies House, you can check out how much we made, but we're doing okay, thank you. So I'm in a position to teach people how to attract clients, because we've been doing it successfully for ourselves and our clients for 15 years. Now, I have to say that was probably the last time I bothered to actually reply, and I did it privately. And I also, then I unfriended them and blocked them. So I never even looked to whether there was a response to that. The truth is, you're not going to convert them. Even if you do a beautiful, polite, customer service response to them, you're rarely going to, you're almost never going to convert a hater. It's not about you. So don't take it personally, but use it to get better. And it did make me, so in that case, it made me remember, okay, I don't know whether it was interesting that it was only 2 guys that actually complained. Everyone else was engaged, liked the ad, shared it, commented. So it actually taught me something about the languaging, and just to make sure that it was targeting the right audience. But also in yourself, if you get criticism, then sometimes it is, can you use it to get better by either talking about the reaction you've had and why you were surprised about it, and I would do that in this kind of forum where you're in control, you're doing a one-way video. Or is there a tiny grain of truth there? Was there something that touches a nerve with you that you perhaps need to work on? Maybe you do feel a little bit concerned that, God, what if people do think that about me? Okay, so then you maybe need to go down and really check the value of your proposition. Make sure you go and speak to some past or current clients and see what they're getting from you, and reboost your confidence again. Number 4, so we've got decide whether it's hater versus a critic. If it's a hater, delete, block. Or seriously, if it's a troll, then I would see a specialist to make sure about managing that. I will try and find some resources for you, but trolling is a slightly different thing. Most of us will never experience this. You'll experience 1 or 2 comments a year, but the truth is those are the ones that we remember. Don't take it personally. Know that this is about someone. It's about the topic that has vented it for them, that's made them want to vent. Number 3, use it to get better. Number 4, humanize yourself. So like I say, again, another instant I had years and years ago, I used to help organize for my clients wellness fairs. So a lot of my clients were hypnotherapists, life coaches, massage therapists, and we would run events to like literally physical exhibitions where people could have a stall, and we would do this for charity. We didn't make any money, we just covered our costs, but we would do it for breast cancer care. So again, I had we were putting up some posters, some flyers the morning of the event to make sure it was well signposted, and it was actually on a there was a building that was being demolished, and they had this huge hoarding, and I'd actually asked permission to put posters on there just for the day. So we were there with our staple gun at 6 o'clock in the morning to make sure that people came to this event. So I've got a big hoarding, lots of big posters, a bit like this one behind, just to make sure people came to this event, which was supporting local businesses and grow, and it was obviously raising funds for breast cancer care. So I had somebody walk up to me, what are you doing creating litter in our environment? This is illegal. And she really had a go. It was like, this is disgusting, these big organizations. And luckily I was able to be fairly calm and just said, well, actually, this is a charity event. We're not, this is about creating an event for the community, for your community. And I do have permission to promote here, actually. But you know what? She was still doing this. She goes, well, I think it's disgusting. You make sure you take those down at the end of the day. It's like, well, that is our intention. But whatever I said was never going to appease that person. So, just know yourself. So, I had a little chat with her and said, look, I am the organizer. It's me. I am someone who supports this charity. I'm not being paid for this. I have put together an event for your community. And she simmered down a bit, but she still was like, but make sure you go. You can't change everyone. So think about, humanize yourself by explaining, if you're going to do a live or speak to people about why you've put a bit of content out there, talk about you and your story, people might assume that you're this huge faceless organization. And number 5, don't focus on the negative. We know as humans, we are so we are so really inclined. You might get, I know this from when I used to teach in corporate, I'd do a workshop or a seminar, and I'd get 20 people saying this was brilliant, this was excellent, and you'd get one that would say, I was disappointed, or it wasn't what I expected. And what's the thing we remember? The one, not the 20. So I think we just got to be aware that our psychology is set up to have us focus on any threats and fears, which is great when we're running around in the forest being chased by a bear, but not so good on the internet. So try and put it into context. Focus on the positive. Don't go around saying, oh, was that ad all right? Was that post video okay? Maribella's saying, I teach hypnobirth. Once a lady contacted me with a long, hateful message digging into that she had lost her babies and suffered so much for it. And yeah, try to give her validation and compassion, and one day she just stopped the hurtful messages. I hope she's found peace. Yeah, you're not responsible for their experience, and of course their experience is often nothing to do with you. You've just been the catalyst that has reminded them. And even when you're doing something very, I don't know, you remember we had Meg Mogg, the wonder dog. She suffered from cancer, and we had to amputate her leg, which gave her about another 4 months of life that she probably wouldn't have had. And 4 months in dog world is a lot. And for us, it was absolutely worth it. But I had people messaging me saying, that they thought it was the wrong thing to do, that you should put her out of her misery. So, and it's nothing to do with you, it's what's gone on for them. Okay, so here are my top 5. Decide whether it's hater versus criticism. If it's hater, block, delete, move on, and do whatever you need to do. Many of you I know are very spiritual, so do something to cleanse your energy, and you know, get your energy back. If it's a criticism, just have a little think. Is there anything in there that you can use? Is there any sort of pearl of truth or tiny nugget that might be useful? So don't take it personally. It's not you, it's the internet. It just happens. Use it to get better. Number 3, so look at, like, you can use it to create content like this. You can use it to address some of those unspoken fears people might have. You can use it to just talk about, you know, how you are. Humanize yourself. So if you are dealing with someone who is a customer and is criticizing you, or somebody who's criticizing the event, and you have to have a conversation with them, make sure they're clear that it's you, you're a human, and rather than say we tend to do this, make sure they know it's you. And number 5, focus on the positive. Do not get sucked into focusing on that one negative message. So anyway, guys, I hope that was helpful. And you know, it takes courage to get out there and put your message out, and not everyone's going to love it, and that is fine. Okay, so thank you again for watching. It's Helen Vandenberg from getclientsfast.net. If you want to grow your business rapidly and learn how to pull in those high-end clients and really do the work you love, then why not check out my latest webinar at impactandincome.net. All right, guys, have an amazing day. I'll speak to you later. Take care. Bye.